I'm just a guy who loves Disney and has way too much time on his hands. If anybody from Disney is watching, please don't sue me. I'm here to rate, review, and describe all of your favorite things from the magical world of Disney. I'm File91e and welcome to my Disney News and Reviews. Hello everyone and welcome to this week's Disney News and Reviews. I'm File91e. I got some stuff to show you guys this week. But I'll get to that in a second. Last week's Where in the Land was the Disneyland Railroad going into Main Street Station. That was good. You guys figured that out. I tried to make it tough for you, but some of you figured it out. Well, I have a new layout for my channel. I'm starting to get some new graphics up there, as you can probably tell. I also uploaded the playlists. So there are new playlists now that I want to try to keep updated every week with every new show. So all the episodes that are on there, I separated into certain playlists, whatnot, DVD unboxings. I have my File91e Disney News and Reviews separated into 3 separate seasons. The first season, and then I took a hiatus. Second season, then I took a hiatus, and then this is currently, I guess you could say, the 3rd season where I'm back and still talking. I haven't taken a hiatus yet. But yeah, so I also have my like my bonus videos, gaming with File91e. All the gaming stuff is there with the Disney Infinity. So I just wanted to tell you that, and I'll try to keep that updated for you as much as possible, because I know people like playlists in YouTube now. So I did that for you guys, and I'll try to have some new graphics, and not for the show because I already updated those, but new layouts, graphics and things like that. So yeah, just trying to keep the show updated, not trying to get stagnant. Before I get into other some other things. I mentioned on my File91e Facebook page that I had a big reveal coming today, and I gave them a taste of what it was. So if you're a part of my File91e Facebook page, you already know what's coming. But it's a big reveal here, and that is this. I'm just going to show you right now. 3, 2, 1. Whoa! Check that out. Look at this. It's a File91e T-shirt. Where can I get such a File91e T-shirt? Well, the link is in the description below. You can't really see it, but on the back there, I'm not sure if you can see it or not. You probably can't because of the chair. But it says, "Please don't sue me." And it has the new File91e main logo here. This is like my main logo now. And on the front, and it's great. It goes up to 5X and down, I think, to extra small. They're very high quality T-shirts. And I really dig them. As far as other bits of merchandise, I'm not exactly sure if I want to do other bits of merchandise, but who knows? Maybe I'll make like a coffee mug or something, just plaster the logo on there. And if it gets a good enough response, maybe I'll do something else. But you guys asked for it at the last live show, and well, I wanted to show it to you. Yes, I got a File91e T-shirt made, and they are up and ready for sale. Just follow the link below. That'll be there pretty much forever. The YouTube link where you can go and get them. Spreadshirt is a very good place that they treated me well, and they are often very good. So awesome stuff there. Main thing, big thing, I want to thank my friend Bob. Bob, he was with me for the 2011 thing. He's my best friend. He's my partner in crime with everything, with all the video stuff. He was awesome. He drew this freehand. He drew this. I said, man, I really wish I could get somebody to draw me in a Disney style. And he said, well, let me try it. So he sketched up something, and I liked it, and he finished it out, and then he took it and made it into a vector sort of thing, and I planted it on this File91e News and Reviews seal, and we have a shirt now, and a good logo, and he's awesome, and he's so artistic and so great. So Bob, thank you so much. He's 7897 Films LLC on here. You see him in all the Corn Shack videos. But he really is a good friend of mine and an awesome artist, and he'll never admit it, but I'm saying that he is, and you can believe me. He's great at what he does, and thank you so much, Bob, for all the help that you've done for me over the years. and in particular this. So your artwork will be on different people's chests for a while. So they're around 20 to 30 bucks depending on the size and all that stuff. Yes, I know it might be a little steep, but that's just what they are. I'm not getting any money from this. I try to make it as cheap as possible. I'm not getting any money from this. There's no profit margin for me. They asked me, do you want to add a couple dollars so that you can make a profit on this? I said no. So, they make them, they send them, they sell them, and I just, get to, have the knowledge that people are wearing my shirts somewhere out there. I don't get any money from this, so don't think I'm trying to sell you something. They're out there for you if you want them. If you don't, I totally agree. Save your money, go to Disney World, that sort of thing. Okay, moving on to something else. Again, I have a lot of stuff to talk about. I plan on doing a Haunted Mansion narration. I found a narrationless song or version of the Haunted Mansion ride through. So I always wanted to do it. I wanted to try my narration or my hand at narration for this. So in the coming weeks I should be working on that to give you my version of the Haunted Mansion narration as the ghost host. Welcome, foolish mortals, that sort of thing. Obviously it won't be as good as the original, but I just think it'd be something fun to do. Why not? Also, last thing, I do plan on doing a Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 live stream where I hope people will, come and talk with me. I do want to, see you guys there, and hopefully the whole idea is that as I build a park, you guys give me ideas on what to do, and I just put it in the park. I've already beaten Roller Coaster Tycoon 3. I've done everything with it that you could possibly do, but talk to you guys with it. So to have you guys say, hey, build a center thing here. You put this ride here. Put this over there. It's just sandbox, nothing to worry about. Infinite money, that sort of thing. But I think it would just be a fun live stream to do. So I do plan on doing that sometime later. So yeah, I think that is it for me. So yes, awesome new shirt, courtesy of my friend Bob. He, with the artwork, and so check it out. File91e has a T-shirt now. So if you want to support this channel, buy it. Yeah, granted, I don't get money, but hey, if somebody asks you where it is, just tell them to Google File91e. So I'll see you. Yeah, awesome. So that's what's been going on with me this week. Let's get right to the news. Now at Disney's Hollywood Studios is an opportunity to see a behind-the-scenes look at the making of the upcoming album We Love Disney. The movie is located in the ABC Sound Studio in Echo Lake and includes interviews with the recording artists and producers. Artists such as Neo, Jason Derulo, Ariana Grande, and Fall Out Boy are just some of the artists taking part. You can buy We Love Disney on October 30th. It's essentially a new Disney Mania album, only with more popular artists. So, and they kind of have a swing feel to it. So that's really cool. I want to be obviously downloading that and getting it. So I urge you guys to check it out on October 30th. Disney has announced that a new character dance party will be opening in the new Sunset Showcase building at Disney's Hollywood Studios. Located between the Rock and Roller Coaster and the Tower of Terror, the new Sunset Showcase is a flexible theater space that has been designed to host a variety of shows. Club Disney gives guests a chance to join Mickey and the gang and take to the dance floor in this electronic environment, or electric club environment, where a DJ club host spins the perfect playlist mix of your favorite Radio Disney Top 40 songs as the floor and walls come alive with vivid images from classic Disney animation. That was a long sentence. Very long sentence. Club Disney will also feature a cool seating area and snack station where you can refuel and recharge both yourself and your electric devices. Club Disney opens in the new Sunset Showcase on December 5th. So that's really cool. I hope it's still open when I go down there next year. It should be pretty fun. I love kind of dance clubs and all that stuff, and if they're playing any songs that I like, well, maybe it should be cool. Either way, maybe I'll just be that weird old guy in there. I don't know. Maybe I'll just go and take a couple pictures of the fun stuff and then just kind of leave. I don't know. And finally, for Disney World, Catalina Eddie's and Rosie's All-American Cafe at Disney's Hollywood Studios, all Hollywood Studios news this week, are now both closed for refurbishment. The two quick service restaurants on Sunset Boulevard closed for refurbishment on October 11th, and are expected to reopen, I guess, on November 20th. So there you go. Good stuff there. Here's some Disneyland news. I promise you some Disneyland news, so I'm not going to skimp on the Disneyland news today. Disneyland annual passes, as well as I heard for Walt Disney World passes too, have gone up in price, and many people aren't liking that fact. Many people are feeling priced out of getting their annual passes, and some have claimed that they might not be renewing this year. The main reason is that because so many things are closing or being refurbished at the parks that it really isn't worth it. And I can understand that, but now look, there will be some really cool things coming down the way, and keep that going. Look, not every year is going to be the best year for Disney, but they're always gearing up for something. So I understand if it's a financial burden, you can't do that, but if you can, renew, and I guarantee you it'll be well worth it. So just, do that. Because of the Star Wars Land expansion in Disneyland, both the Disneyland Railroad and the Rivers of America will have a slightly different route than before when they reopened. I thought that was pretty cool, or pretty interesting. I don't think either of those have changed any since Disneyland started. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's pretty interesting. The fact that Star Wars Land is going to be so immense that they have to kind of reroute both of those main things. Now, granted, that's just a slight change, but I saw that's pretty interesting. And some rehab and refurbishment news for Disneyland. It's a Small World in Disneyland will be closed from October 19th through November 5th to install the new holiday overlay. The Jungle Cruise in Disneyland will be closed from November 12th through November 2nd through the 12th to install the Jingle Cruise holiday overlay. Space Mountain at Disneyland will be closed from November 2nd through the 13th to remove the Ghost Galaxy overlay and then install the Hyperspace Mountain overlay. So they're switching out the overlays. Interventions is expected to reopen soon with the new Star Wars launch bay and superhero headquarters. I recently also found out that Spider-Man will be one of the people that you can meet in the superhero headquarters. That's unique because usually Spider-Man can only be found in Universal Studios. So that's going to be pretty interesting. Starcade is closed indefinitely, and the Tomorrowland Theater is closed indefinitely, though there have been rumors of them showing a Star Wars preview, but I'm not sure. Take that as just hearsay. And finally, Disney's California Adventure, Turtle Talk with Crush will be closed until the 29th of this month for refurbishment. So there you go. Awesome. So that's the news for this week. Let's get right to the reviews. As you guys can probably tell by the quality of the video that we're still in retro month. I fooled a couple of you last week thinking that the video was bad or it uploaded wrong or whatever. But no, that's just the effect that I want for retro. It's very old school, and I'm trying to recreate the old camera that I had, especially because I have the hat still and everything. So being retro month, I'm going to be talking about old Disney attractions, particularly Disneyland, because I just went there. Although I do have some Disney World attractions that I'm going to re-review. I want to be talking about Horizons and the World of Motion pavilions next week, so that should be fun. A lot of you have been wanting me to talk more about that, so I'll do that. But, oh, somebody's on the Periscope. Awesome stuff. File91e's on Periscope. Check that out. So the first thing I want to talk to you about today are the Fink Keelboats. Now, you're probably wondering, why are you talking about that? Well, it's because, honestly, I was on yesterland.com, which is a great source for all of the old stuff in Disney. And I just got drawn to learning about it and learning the history about it. And I just wanted to talk about it because it's my show and I can do whatever I want. Anyway, now the Fink Keelboats. Now, who is Fink? Well, if you know anything about Disney, you'll know that Davy Crockett was a big thing back in the day. Davy Crockett had his own TV show. He had his coonskin caps. He pretty much, overtook all of Frontierland. When he came out, because the country western thing was huge, and Davy Crockett was the big thing. One of the most famous episodes of the Davy Crockett thing was his keelboat race against Fink down the mighty Mississippi River to whoever can get to New Orleans first. Mike Fink was the king of the Mississippi River, and he challenged Davy Crockett, and Davy Crockett's not going to bow down to that. So he rustled up some friends, and they went down the river, and after some tussling back and forth, by the skin of his teeth, Davy Crockett won, and Mike Fink had to eat his hat. And they actually wound up becoming friends and respecting one another, because that's the heart of competition, is that whoever wins, you can show respect to one another. It's not really that much of a competition. So anyway, that is where you get the Mike Fink keelboats. Now, keelboats are just these little boats that they used back in the in the olden days. And so they said, you know what? We got these things. Davy Crockett's huge. We got the rivers of America. Let's make let's bring the keelboats to the rivers of America. Let's bring it to Disneyland and have some fun. So that's how you get this. This is a sea ticket attraction, which is a big thing, because the other Rivers of America attractions, like the canoe or the sailing ship Columbia or the riverboat, were all D ticket attractions, which means you would have to waste a D level ticket, which could also be Peter Pan's Flight and all that stuff, or whatever, or a bigger ride. In order to go around the rivers of America. But with the keelboats, it's only a C ticket, which is a lower attraction. That's kind of how they gauged it. So you could tour the rivers of America in these keelboats for a lesser ticket. So that's awesome. So people really dug that. So that was cool. Now, there were only 2 boats. Originally, they actually brought the actual boats from the TV show over and just said, here, just let them go through. One was the Gully Whumper, which was Mike Fink's boat itself, and then the other one was the Bertha May, which was Davy Crockett's. So they were brought over. They could only really hold maybe a couple people. It was kind of decided after a couple months that, hey, let's just kind of expand this thing, because to hold more people, because it really wasn't turning out a good number of people. So they expanded the Gully Whumper and the Bertha May and made it a kind of a 3-windowed thing, and more people could get on it and enjoy the rivers of America. So that was pretty cool. But it was it's just a fun thing to know that the original 2 were from the actual show. So that's kind of cool. Now, this ran seasonally until 1996. It was, a very popular type thing during the time. So during really busy days or during the summer, it ran, pretty well, until around 1996, when, just the general decline of that, the interest there, caused it to close. But then in 1997, it reopened. And then it had an accident. One of the ships, I think it was the Gully Whumper, turned over and dumped all of its guests into the rivers of America. Nobody was really hurt. I mean, a couple people had to be taken to a hospital, but nobody died. But everybody, was safe, I guess. But the fact that they had to kind of get out and start swimming, that's not very cool. So ever since then, they kind of shut it down, and you won't really you can't enjoy the Mike Fink keelboats anymore. Now, the keelboats were also in Walt Disney World when they brought them over. They were there until 2001. They were ran seasonally. And then also there is one in Disneyland Paris, and I've heard, this could be rumors, I could be completely wrong, but I've heard that they still have them, and where it operates seasonally. They're not called the Gully Whumper or the Bertha May. They're called the Raccoon and the Squirrel or something like that. So if you want to enjoy the Mike Fink keelboats, you might just want to go to Disneyland Paris, because that's where I think they still have them, where it operates seasonally. I could be wrong, but I think I'm right. Now, in Disneyland, this was mainly used, one of the keelboats, as a prop, the Gully Whumper. During 2010, they did a refurb of the Rivers of America, so they used that mainly as a prop. So that was pretty cool. Mike Fink's cabin actually replaced the Burning Settlers cabin. So you can actually go through the Rivers of America and see Mike Fink's cabin right there, and right down the way, his keelboat, the Gully Whumper, is actually still there. So if you want to see the actual keelboat, go there. Now, the Bertha May actually is owned by a collector, and it's really cool. He wasn't very into it, but it was just funny that when he came across it, he bought it for like 15 grand. So there you go. The Bertha May is still out there somewhere, sitting in a garage, in some dude's garage, so that's pretty interesting. But yeah, the history of that is pretty fun. Now, like I said, this is retro month, so not all these attractions are going to be really interesting. But I love to learn the history of certain rides, especially rides like this that are based off of a TV show like Davy Crockett and whatnot. This was cool. The Mike Fink Keelboats, the fact that it had a turnover story, or like an accident story that nobody got hurt, but it's interesting, and I love stuff like this. It kind of makes me go, man, I can't believe I didn't get on the Mike Fink Keelboats when I had the chance. But alas, it's fun to watch and it's fun to do. It's just a boat ride around there, so that's interesting. So yeah, now what am I going to give Mike Fink's Keelboats than all of the other ones there? I think I'm mainly just going to give this 2 stars. It only operated seasonally. I did like the fact that the original 2 boats were the actual boats from the show. I thought that was really neat. But it's still just a transport ride to take you around the rivers of America. But I also did like the fact that it was a sea level ticket rather than a D level ticket. So if you wanted to see the rivers of America on a kind of a budget, I guess you could say, get on the Mike Fink Keelboats. It's better, or it's cheaper then. But then again, if you want to get on the canoe or the sailing ship Columbia and all that stuff, you'd have to pay a little bit more. But yeah, there you go, the Mike Fink Keelboats. I hope you guys learned a little something. I love kind of learning about old Disney stuff, and this was actually very fun for me. So the Mike Fink Keelboats in Disneyland, Walt Disney World, and allegedly in Disneyland Paris, 2 stars.
And now, a random Disney fact with File 91e.
Major Donnie Dunnigan was the youngest ever drill instructor and served 3 tours of Vietnam. He even received the Bronze Star and the Purple Heart 3 times. While serving in the Marine Corps, he kept a secret that nobody knew. He was the voice of Bambi.
And that was a random Disney fact with File 91e.
Alright, everybody. Now, I'm sure you saw the title of this show and wondered, what in the world is the Wizard of Braz? I was very shocked when I found out that at the opening of Disneyland on Main Street, USA, there was an intimate apparel shop. Let me explain. For 6 months, Disneyland had an intimate apparel shop on its Main Street, USA. When Disney was looking to fill up shops on the Main Street, USA circuit, he wanted actual places to fill in the stores, so they could be kind of old-timey stores and whatnot. And one of the companies that said, yeah, sure, Walt will do that, and Walt agreed to it, was the Hollywood Maxwell Brazier Company of Los Angeles. Now, they are no longer around. They were absorbed into something, and now they make, that company makes like t-shirts and whatnot. But the fact that you could buy a bra and learn about all the different styles of bras from the 1850s on was pretty amazing. That is hilarious. You're walking down Main Street, USA, got the China shop, ooh, candy shop, ooh, bra shop, huh? I can buy bras? Not only that, you can learn the history of bras. Come on in. The Wizard of Braz will take you all take you all through it. All right. Guys were very apprehensive about going in. They didn't want to go into a bra shop because they thought it would be whatever. But, it was 1955. It was a modern era. They were trying to get men to open up and become a little bit more, emotional and, okay, secure with themselves. Yeah. That's what they did. So basically, the way this worked is as you were going down Main Street, USA, you would see this little thing, and you would go in, ooh, the bra shop, the intimate apparel shop. You'd walk right in, and via a pre-recorded message, you would learn about the history of bras. You could, go in and look in these little things, and you would show you the evolution of the brassieres and undergarments, women's undergarments and things like that up until about 1955. Thankfully, Disney still doesn't have that because the women's undergarments have evolved quite a lot in the last 50, 60 years. since 1955. So thankfully they didn't keep that updated, or not thankfully, depending on how on your interest level in that subject and wanting to see it in a Disney park. I'm not really interested in that, seeing that in a Disney park. Hey, Carousel of Progress is good enough for me, but you know what do I know? I'm not judging people. People can do whatever they want. It's a free country. Let's move on. Now, like I said, after 6 months, this closed hardcore. What's funny is this wasn't the first shop to close. There was a baby shop that closed before this did. So people didn't like that shop more than they didn't like this one. So I just think that's hilarious that this wasn't the first one to actually, shut down. No, there was a baby shop that went first. So this one shut down. After 6 months, the glass and china shop absorbed it, so that became a bigger sort of area. But it's still there. The facade is still there. It doesn't say intimate apparels or anything like that. I just think it's called, funny. It's now called the China Closet. So as you're walking through the China Closet in that one area with the little, the porch area, think really hard about what used to be in there. The Wizard of Bras. There was a wizard who would talk to you about all of the history of bras from the Hollywood Maxwell Brazier Company of Los Angeles. Wow. Now you know. And knowing is half the battle. G.I. Joe! See what I did there? See what I did? So yeah, what am I going to give the Wizard of Bras shop that only lasted 6 months in Disneyland? I personally want to give it a 5. I want to give it a 5. But I can't. It's a 1. 1 star. The dreaded 1. It's amazing that somebody thought this would work. Now, I get that they were trying to be kind of cosmopolitan and things were kind of evolving and upgrading, but this, knowing that there was an intimate apparel shop in a Disney park is amazing. I mean, they don't even let you, really show male nipples on the Splash Mountain ride. They don't show that. There's a no nipple rule on Splash Mountain. So, thinking that you could buy a bra in a whole different area of the park while still having that in effect would be mind-boggling to me. So the fact that somebody said, yeah, let's do that. This is a good idea. It's hilarious. And I'm so happy now that I know that and that I can impart that knowledge onto you so that everybody who goes to Disneyland either today, tomorrow, whenever, the day after, stop by that little shop, the China Closet, and look for the little porch with the door and everything and think, hey, at one point I could have gone in there and learned about all the different types of bras from Hollywood Maxwell Brazier Company of Los Angeles. That's fantastic to me. That is just fantastic. The more you know. The more you know, kids. So yes, the Wizard of Bras in Main Street, USA and Disneyland. 1 star. Alright guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this week's Disney News and Reviews. Again, go, if you want, please buy the shirt. Again, I know, I'm just shilling it. I don't get any money, but I like the fact that people might want to buy this and wear this, elsewhere out. And you don't even have to explain it, just say Google it. You don't even have to explain it, just say Google it if you're into Disney. But thanks again to my friend Bob for drawing this. It's amazing. And you're just an awesome guy, buddy. You're an awesome guy. And I got a whole bunch of new stuff coming up. I got like the live stream coming with Roller Coaster Tycoon, the Haunted Mansion thing. I'm still doing some gaming stuff. Got Wrestle Theme reviews going every week. So it's just a busy time for File91e. But it's fun. I'm having a blast. And I hope you are too. I hope you guys are too. And enjoying Retro Month. Got the World of Motion and Horizons, a new kind of talk about that. I'm not necessarily going to be reviewing them or rating them. I just want to talk to you about them because I still think they were good and should have been kept. But alas, Test Track and Mission Space are there now. But yes, we'll move on and talk about that later. So yeah, if anybody from Disney is watching, please don't sue me. Haha. I want people to go to Disney World or Disneyland and just have a great time. I'm doing retro stuff, even though it is talking about a bunch of old things. It's fun to go and learn about old things and then go to Disney World and think about what is there now. It's just hilarious. I think it's funny. And it shows just how much the parks have evolved and how they will continue to evolve over time. A lot of people don't like the fact that, rides will be down and stuff like that. But you know what? Stuff has to happen. Stuff like that has to happen in order to, evolve the park and make it better. So it will be better. Star Wars Land is going to be awesome, and I just can't wait to see what they do with Tomorrowland and all that stuff. It's just going to be great. Who knows what's going to be there in the future. So if you are going to Disney World or Disneyland, be sure to go to rs.net, touringplans.com, wdwmagic.com for all your latest and greatest Disney news, waltdisneyworld.com, and disneyland.com is great. A great source for information too. I get all my Disneyland news from micechat.com, another great website. Check that out if you are so inclined. You got it last week, so I'll try to stump you again this week. I'll see you guys next time for another Disney news and reviews. And guys, where in the land am I this week? Bye guys. Buy my shirt!